There will be some new faces on the Duluth City Council in the new year. The election earlier this month saw a new at-large councilor elected and new councilors in the 3rd and 5th districts of Duluth. Tonight, we will meet the new city councilors and learn more about them. Derek Medved was the top vote getter in the at-large council race. Janet Kennedy will be the new city councilor representing Duluth's 5th district, and Roz Randorf won the election in Duluth's 3rd district council. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here tonight. I guess the big question I have, and maybe Derek, we can start with you. What caused each of you to run for city council? Derek?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that encouraged me to run. One, a love for community, starting way back in the day when I opened my first gas station, and even working at the gas station when I was 16. So a lot of things, the passion for community, and my mom always told me at a young age, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And so that kind of inspired me to say, you know, it's my time. I really want to bring a great voice to the council and work hard for the community.
Mm-hmm. Janet, what about you? What made you decide to run?
So for me, it's always been a passion, and people have told me that I'm a leader ever since I was a young girl, going to Fairmont School and being on the police patrol. But more importantly, I understood and began to see how policies were impacting people's lives. And the more people and the more diverse policy decision board we have, the better policies we'll make for everyone. So I'm really excited to make a difference in my community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Roz, you too have jumped in. Why?
Yeah, well, you know, I really believe in the power of a diverse council. And I saw myself as someone who could bring in some knowledge from the business community, as well as really my passion for, for the environment. And so I think diverse voices make for strong policy decisions. And so I thought I should throw my name in the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Roz, you mentioned your business experience and bringing that voice to the council.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair, as you look at the people who were elected, that the citizens want a more business-minded city council?
You know what? I think it's a blend. Mm-hmm. In District 3, there's a lot of voices that are talking about affordable housing. Mm-hmm. They're talking about protecting our water and protecting our environment. But there's also a big piece of that, and that's they need livable wage jobs. We need to build our economy. We need to bring more industry in. So it's a blend. In order to solve one problem, you almost need the tools from building the business and bringing new industry to town and giving good jobs, bringing good jobs to town. And so doing one solves the other. So we need them both.
Mm-hmm. Janet, what do the people of the 5th District need that you can perhaps help provide?
Well, one of the things I said along the campaign trail is Western Duluth is open for business. So we need a lot of things out there. Community-centered economic development. We have some food insecurity in some of our neighborhoods. We have some transportation issues.
Housing problems?
We have housing problems. We have one community who doesn't have cell phone service, can't go out to the end of their driveway and get cell phone service. So yeah, we need investments of all kinds out there.
Mm-hmm. Do you see that those investments are starting to take place?
They are starting, but I think with myself living out there and understanding and doing a lot of work out there already around economic development or housing or around health inequities, there could be more that can be done. And I look forward to working with Derek, who's lived out there, and both of us are really rooted in our community, and I know we'll be able to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Derek, are there one or two issues where your concentrations are going to lie?
Well, yeah, there's many. Housing, I think as all of us can agree greatly, and also creating jobs, creating better paying jobs in our community. And so, building the economy is going to be huge for me. So how can we do that? How can we, look at it from a business perspective and encourage growth in our community? And so those are some of the top things. We got to create housing to encourage industry to move here, and also then focus on strengthening the business climate in our city.
Mm-hmm. As a business owner, have you found city government getting in the way of growth and development, or are there insights that you could offer to help the city maybe better cooperate with the business community?
And I believe so. That was a big part of why I wanted to run. And so reducing red tape, what can the city do to encourage growth? There's a lot, and through city code, through permitting. And so, having the city involved within a small business or, implementing new ordinances can be harmful. Sure. And so how can we work with the small business community to ensure that they're going to continue to grow? And so for my growth in my business, we've grown outside of Duluth because we just don't know the next thing that's going to take part in implementing on a small business. So I would like to encourage people to move here, to grow here. And back to Janet's question, what does the 5th district need? And that was a strong voice, and I look forward to working with you. We have a lot of great opportunity,
Sure.
and so that's what the council needs, and our city needs strong voices. And even with Roz, I think the council is going to be a great, strong voice to council, and we're going to work really hard to do all those things.
One issue I hear people talking about is rising property taxes. How do all three of you plan to address that? Roz, maybe you
Yeah,
can
that is definitely, we hear that. And, the city assessment has changed on how we assess the properties
It has.
5 years ago. And so now the county's assessing. So some people are seeing maybe their properties has been assessed differently, which sometimes I think they think, hey, the taxes increase when in fact the assessment may have changed. That assessment may have been flat for many years and now it's catching up where the true value should be. But yeah, property taxes are an issue. And in order for us to stop, you have a limited amount of revenue in your pie, 91 million, right, in our general fund. In order to create more, we have to bring more business in, or else all we're doing is increasing our property tax and trying to grow it within. We need to bring business that's out and bring it in so that we can stop relying on tax increases.
And Janet, people also have a limited amount of money in their wallets.
Yeah, they do. One of the things that came through is we had a good idea around the 0.5% tax and how it didn't tax food and clothing, but it did create some more taxes that we needed. And so I agree with Roz. We need to create community-centered economic development that fits the community, but also brings in more revenue so we don't have to keep taxing our community members.
Derek, is rising property taxes a citywide issue or only in certain parts of the town?
Oh, I definitely think a citywide issue, because we're all paying for that, and at one point in time, it's going to catch up to everybody. And so, growing our tax base definitely needs to be a priority, whether it be through industry, small business, or building housing. And so, how can we do that? I think as a whole city, we can encourage that growth, and we need to. And so, I think even implementing a tax freeze, in a portion, in the upcoming years would be a big thing to hopefully promise and encourage people to say, what, we're going to really work on this, and just, stop the promises and say, hey, the buck stops here. We're going to really focus on saving you guys money because people can't afford continue, rise in taxes. We just simply can't.
Mm-hmm. The money is starting to come in from the 0.5% street tax. What do you think, Roz, in terms of making sure that the right projects are prioritized, having some transparency in that decision-making process? What would you like to see happen?
Yeah, I really think, and we hear it a lot with street repair, and with all of the doors that I knocked on, a lot of the times people would want to talk about the streets. We know the money's here, but people really want to know when my street's next. And so being able to communicate that, have transparency, it's like having someone do a repair on your own home. You pay them and you should know when it's going to be done. People feel that way also about their street repair. And so being able to cascade down that communication so people know when it's my turn is really important.
Janet, what about you? How do you think the city should prioritize spending that money?
So I know the mayor has already put together a plan, and she's been out doing some focus groups. I've been to a couple out in western Duluth, out in Morgan Park. And so I want to make sure, and when she implements that it's going to be equitable across our city. So there's already a start, there's already a plan, and our job is to make sure that plan is going to work for every neighborhood.
Maybe all of you can address this too. Safety in the city is always an issue with people who live here and move into town. Is Duluth a safe city?
I believe Duluth is a safe city. A lot of people come here to raise their kids. A lot of people come from other cities that aren't maybe as safe to raise their families. And so I know that we need to make sure, though, we're continuing to support our police and our fire to continue to have a safe city and maybe even a safer city. We need to look at some of the social issues that are going on and implement maybe more social workers within our police and fire departments. But I believe so.
And I believe so also. We have the great DPD and the fire department that go out every day and really work very hard to protect us. But the one thing that I really talked about on my campaign is perception is reality. And if you don't feel safe in your home or your neighborhood or walking down Superior Street at night, are you safe? And so we really need to hopefully work on that to improve people, their mindset. Are you going to feel safe at night? And we want to make sure everybody feels safe in their home and in their community.
Roz?
Yeah, I'm really proud of our Duluth Police Department. In fact, my son is a Duluth police officer. When I look at what's happening on the national level, even in Minneapolis, and I look at Duluth Police, I'm super proud. We have a great team, we have great leadership, and yeah, I feel safe, and I believe Chief Tuscan's doing a fantastic job.
You're the first African American city councilor in the city. Why is it so important to have the community's voice represented on the council? And what are you hearing from folks in terms of how they want you to represent the community?
Yeah. So it's important because when we have a more diverse board, people don't fall through the cracks. What can happen is if there's just one culture in the room, it becomes sort of a one culture mindset in what your decisions are. And the community has been really supportive, and I believe looking forward to this. There's been so many people that said, Janet, I'm so glad that this happened. So it gives us an idea that we're moving ahead in Duluth, moving ahead in Western Duluth, and moving ahead not just for today, but for generations to come.
Can the city council do anything to enrich the lives of children?
I believe so, yes. I think that we look back to the good old days, as I might say, or my grandparents might tell me, and community centers were thriving in our community. We had programming, we had Parks and Rec really thriving, the zoo was thriving. So what are things we can encourage for programming in each neighborhood? The G&D Rec Alliance, which I was part of in the western part of town, taking the shack, as we used to call it, and pumping millions of dollars into that and really rejuvenating it to encourage, after-school programming for kids, help on homework, and a safe place and a good, positive place for them to play in the neighborhood in summer days. So what can we do in each neighborhood? And I really want to work with district councilors and even the administration to encourage, that programming for kids in our community.
And over the past year, the council's done a lot of good work on daycares, being able to change some zoning and some policies on getting, loosening up the regulations on getting them in businesses, getting them closer to businesses. Being a single mom myself, I know how important childcare is for people to be able to work, to keep and to retain their good living wage jobs. They have to have somewhere safe to bring their children in the day. And so I'm just so impressed with the work they've done this last year with daycares and with childcare.
Okay. Roz, Janet, Derek, thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your
Thank you
wins.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.